Hey, guys, welcome back to Live at 5, this week's version. So, we are still talking about the art of allowing. We spent several weeks talking about that. We're going to talk briefly about it today just to close it out. And then we're going to get into a whole different thing that I want you guys to think about. So, like I said, we spent time for the last few weeks. We missed a couple of Sundays in September talking about the art of allowing, and then so we tried to make it up. So we got these first two Sundays in October talking about it, and so this is the third week, and we're just going to finish it up and go into something completely different. All right. So hope you guys have had a great weekend. What a beautiful, beautiful weekend it was. Weather was exceptional. So I hope that you had an opportunity to go outside and enjoy some of this beauty. The leaves are changing, and there's a little crispness in the air. And hope you guys have enjoyed it. But listen, let's finish up this art of allowing thing. And simply, I guess, simply put, is anything that you give permission to is what you allow. So you got to think about that. You got to think about what you are giving permission to come in and out of your life. You allow everything to flow in and out of your life, and that can be positive or negative. You can't forget that. So when you say, I hear you talking, Corey, and you say allow, 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 let the negative flow in the end. And that's true, because once you learn how to allow yourself to just go with the flow of life, then you really don't experience any negativity. You don't experience any, because you realize that even when something comes to you that appears negative, you realize that there is a lesson to be learned. And I think all too often we forget to ask what that lesson is. And when you forget to ask what the lesson is, then you never ask the right question to get the right answer. And, a lot of times our anger is birthed out of confusion. Our anger is birthed out of frustration. And like children, we don't know how to respond. Instead, we react. And I think with the whole concept of allowing, the art of allowing, it simply allows you to sit back and say, what can I gain from this? Especially if the experience is negative. If the experience is positive, then you simply flow, extract from it, and it goes well. Like, so it's that simple. Okay. The art of allowing is what you give permission to. I think that's the most simplest way to state it, the simplest way to understand it. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because that puts you in control. It puts you in complete control of every single situation that shows up in your life every single day. You simply get to give it permission. That's control. That's handling your own life and your own destiny. You don't feel like you're a victim anymore. You simply sit back and you chill. Guys, hey, thank you guys for joining me. Catherine, Sonia, Priscilla, Cookie, thank you guys for joining me today. So we're finishing up the art of allowing. And again, to allow means that you give permission to. And even when what appears to be a negative situation, you say, but I didn't give this permission to happen, but you did inadvertently. And as a result of that negative experience showing up in your life, or what you perceive to be negative, you need to simply sit back and ask that question: what can I learn from this? What can this experience teach me? Does it teach me patience? Does it teach me perseverance? Does it teach me love? Does it teach me kindness? And that puts you in control. It literally puts you in control of your emotions, your feelings, your day, your week, your year. It puts you in control, because you understand that nothing can come to you unless you allow it. So that's the art of allowing, is to simply sit back and go with the flow of life and look at every experience as an opportunity to grow, as an opportunity to develop, as an opportunity to be groomed for something greater or groomed for the next stage or phase in your life. You simply stop being the victim. And by allowing, giving permission to, you simply get to have that control over who you are, and you get to walk every day in life. It's not a bad day. It's no such thing as a bad day when you are in control and you know that you can extract something from that that's going to teach you, that's going to groom you and develop you. Anybody have any questions or comments about the art of allowing? Because I really am excited about getting into the next stuff that I want to talk about today. I'm not going to hold you long today. I appreciate you guys for joining me, but I want to talk some, if we need to talk more about allowing. I think we're at a point now, either you're getting it or you're not. And if you're not getting it, you can DM me and we can talk a little bit further with that concept of the art of allowing. But I really think that when you understand, it's whatever you give permission to happen in your life, whatever you give permission to come into your life, then that's what you've allowed, and that's what you've got to deal with for that moment. So understand that you are in control. And once you grasp that concept that I am only in control, nobody else, nobody can make me upset unless I allow it. Nobody can make me happy unless I allow it. Nobody can frustrate me unless I allow it. And to allow means you giving permission to. So, don't let anybody have control over you, your day, your emotions. Learn how to have that control over yourself and say, you know what, you're coming at me wrong, and I'm not going to allow that to happen. I'm not going to give you permission to talk to me any kind of way. I'm not going to give you permission to treat me any kind of way. And that simply states that you are in control, and that's what you need. That's what you need. That's what keeps you smiling. That's what keeps you moving forward. That's what keeps you not being overwhelmed and stressed, as long as you're in control. And that's what the art of allowing is. Thank you, Forrestine. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining us today. So let's get into the next thing real quick. And I just want to touch on it, and then we'll carry it on for the next 2 or 3 Sundays, okay, as we come together. The next thing that I want to talk about, and it's not going to be up on your screen, but we'll post it somewhere. Somebody on the team will post it somewhere. But I want to talk about changing your beliefs. Changing your beliefs. Here is the thing, and I don't know if you know this or not, but a belief is anything that you hold as a truth. Think about that for a minute. Your belief is whatever you consider to be true about a situation, about yourself, about somebody else. A belief is simply, in its most fundamental terms, is whatever you see as a truth. For those of you who are religious or whatever, if you want to just take it, I have a belief in God. That is my truth. You cannot tell me otherwise. You cannot tell me that there isn't a God. So I have accepted that as my truth. But think about it on this perspective. What if somebody said to you, you'll never be anybody? You came from the wrong side of the tracks. You came out of this neighborhood. You came from this. You will never be anybody. You will never have anything. Now, if you believe them, that means that you accept what they said as a truth. And whatever your truth is about anything, about yourself, about somebody else, that's what becomes your reality. I promise you. It is that simple. Whatever your truth is, that's what becomes your reality. So when you look at yourself and you stand in the mirror and you're talking to yourself, self-talk, you talk to yourself and you say, man, I am just overweight, or I'm down. Nobody likes me. Nobody thinks I'm pretty. Nobody thinks I'm handsome. Nobody thinks I'm this. Once you start saying that, you have already started embracing that as your truth. And you know what happens after that? Once you embrace that as your truth, then how you see you is the exact same way that the rest of the world sees you. The exact same way. How you see yourself is the exact same way. So people think yeah, you're too big. You're not very pretty. You're not very handsome. You won't ever have anything. You won't ever be anything. That is what you created in your mind. It first starts as a belief, and then it goes from belief to being a truth. And from truth, it goes to being a reality. It's that simple. So in your self-talk, how do I change my belief, or how do I change what I view as a truth? And it's simple. It's really simple. You got to just change the way you think. Changing the way you think first changes what you say, which changes how you think, changes how you talk, changes how you live. It changes your belief system. I've done this. Like I have done it in so many different areas of my life. Let's go back to the example I think I shared with you many moons ago, that I consider myself an introvert. I am an introvert. I am an introvert. And I believed that. I believed it and I accepted it as a truth. But the reality is, I had to change my perspective of that. Um, I am an introvert with extroverted tendencies, is now what I tell myself, because I couldn't do what I do. I couldn't sit here if I was truly an introvert on camera talking to you on Sunday afternoons. I couldn't do what I do in my profession. I couldn't go out and speak. I couldn't go out and lecture. I couldn't do any of that if I was truly, truly, truly an introvert. So I had to stop saying that, because saying that, it made me use that as an excuse. So if a door opened for me to talk, if doors opened for me to stand out front and be out front in the crowd, I would immediately shut them down, because in my mind, I have believed and accepted as a truth that I am an introvert. Once I started changing that belief system, doors started opening. It gave me opportunity to speak. Yes, I am an introvert. I prefer being by myself. However, comma, theretofore, I will stand in front of a crowd and I will talk. I will sit on camera. I will do what I need to do, because I have extroverted tendencies and I can turn it on and turn it off as I need to. And so I had to change my belief about who I thought I was, the personality that I thought I had. Now I understand that I can be an introvert when I need to be, I can be an extrovert when I need to be. And think about it, in your finances, you have been told having money is bad. You know, if you want to be close to God, you got to be, humble and meager in your beginnings and all of this stuff. Yeah, Priscilla says I am an introvert at times as well with extroverted tendencies. Absolutely, you have to know that. You can't just say that I am an introvert and live life the way you need to, especially if you're somebody that has to, by profession or career, interact with people. So you have to be able to be able to step outside of that shell sometimes. But yeah, when you start hearing these things that you accept as beliefs, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that, and people tell you that, and you accept it as a belief first, and then that belief transcends into a truth in your mind. Just because it's a truth to you, don't mean that it's true. Think about that. Just because it's a truth to you, don't mean it's a universal truth for everybody. And that's another thing that I've learned. Just because I have accepted it as a truth, don't mean that everybody else has to accept it as well. And I think that's the problem, especially when you get in relationships with people, this is how I was brought up, and this is and you can't do this, and you can't say this, you can't act like this, and we accept that as our truth, but then we get mad or offended when other people don't accept our beliefs, our truths, the way we do. You can't be that way, because everybody sees the world differently. Everybody sees it differently. We see the world. I saw a quote some time ago. I read it in the book, and I was trying to remember it. I had to use it this weekend, ironically enough, and guess who I had to use it on? me. Like I had to use it on me. And the quote is, we don't see the world or people how they are. We see them how we are. Think about that. You don't see the world how they are or people how they are, but you see them how you are. So your little idiosyncrasies, your little beliefs, your truths, that's what determines how you see the world. If you are of the belief and the truth that the world is horrible, like it's always negative, it's always, that's exactly what you're going to always see. That literally becomes your truth. And if nobody else sees it, you're going to always run into it. You're going to always see it. You know, we've got to change our belief system. We've got to change our perceptions. And the only way that you can do that is to literally sit down and think about what it is you're thinking about all the time. Think about what it is you're thinking about. Catherine says, I recently completed a personality test, and the most answers of the answers told me that I am mostly an introvert. I found that interesting. Okay. Yeah. Usually, yeah, that's good. I've taken multiple personality tests, and I have no doubt in my mind that they see me the same way I see me. Make me go, really? So was it them or was it me? So regardless of that, changing your belief system, which means changing your truth, which means changing your reality. It's what you believe, what you accept as a truth, and then what you see, what materializes in your world. I'll never have anybody. Now, I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worthy of relationship. I'll never do that. And so you've accepted that. That's what you believe. That's what you put out in the atmosphere. That's what you have accepted as your truth. And that's what has become your reality. If you want to see that change, you got to change the way you think. I am worthy of love. I deserve the best. I deserve somebody that'll take care of me, that'll love me, that'll do whatever. And once that changes, that whole belief system changes, then you literally position yourself to meet the right person at the right time. I promise you it works. Okay. So that's what I need for you to keep in mind. Don't want to overwhelm you with too much. We're going to talk more and more about this. This has really changed my life just by changing my beliefs and my belief system. And I started tearing down some things that I had believed about circumstances, believed about life, believed about me for years and years, and tearing down those preformed belief system. And over the next few days, I want you guys to go back, even as children. We were taught and told that you don't go outside with no shoes on if it's raining or if it's cold, because you're going to catch a cold. No, you won't. You don't catch cold from cold weather. You catch cold from viruses. So it ain't even the cold weather, but we say, well, I'm not going to go out in the cold. You got to put a coat on. You got to put shoes on. No, that's what we've adopted as a truth. That's what we've adopted as a belief system. And once you tear down those old belief systems from an old teacher, from an old adult, an old parent, or whatever, former, all that stuff, once you tear it down, oh man, things change. Life opens up and you start seeing life anew. I promise you. I promise you. Benny says, for me, I have to use daily affirmations to chip away at those foundational bad beliefs I had built up. Absolutely. You got to keep doing it. It's not as easy as you think to just change the way that you think. For me, all kinds of little stuff constantly pop up in my head. And I have to say, nope, you're not telling me that. You're not. I'm not going to believe that. I'm not listening to you right now. I'm not. I don't care what it looks like. I'm not listening to you. I know what it needed to be. I know what it is. So you have to do that. You have to be aware of the thoughts that are coming in your mind, what you are allow to come into your mind, what you are giving permission to come into your mind, the thoughts that you're saying about you to you. You have to be aware of those. So just be mindful. We're going to stop there. I promise you, I want to get deeper and deeper in this, man. This is one of those good and juicy topics, and changing my beliefs and the benefits of it is going to blow your mind. I promise it's going to blow your mind. So listen, let me see you next week. Let me see you next week, live at 5. We'll be here and we're going to go from there. I really appreciate you guys joining me today. I was excited to talk about that. That's something that I've put into action and I know it'll work. I promise you. I know it'll work. Stay tuned too, because we've got some upcoming events that we want to share with you. And it's going to be some fun. Going to be some fun coming up for the holidays and all that kind of good stuff. So you guys stay strong, stay focused, stay confident, stay defiant. Talk to you next week.